4 out of 10. That was shoddy.
Do you know what was even better, Steve? You forgot to click go live, mate.
Did I?
Yeah, because I clicked it.
No, I clicked it twice.
Oh, you must have clicked it twice then, because I did it.
Lovely.
Lovely stuff. Anyway, hello everybody and welcome to episode 32 of the second series of the Plastic Crack podcast. How are we all, chaps?
Excellent.
Oh, absolutely brilliant, mate. How about you?
Yeah, well,
I'm going to share this because this seems to be a little bit of a lower number, so it could have done the same thing as it only does with you, Steve.
No, it was Dom's last time.
It was mine last time, yeah, it was. For some reason, it didn't notify people that it was live.
Oh, okay.
Because people were accusing me of not putting the right time for the broadcast, but I had. It was just whatever. I think, Steve, there's a conspiracy against you and I. You know, these big channels are just knocking us apart.
You know, it's Martin. He's the god now.
Martin's the godfather.
He's done nothing.
He's YouTube's love child.
So episode 32 of the Plastic Crack podcast, which, as you know, if you're here on a weekly basis, we're proudly sponsored by Reaper Games. And if you stick around towards the end of the show, we're putting up the code that will get you a rather tasty 10% discount off all things Reaper Games. A great selection of plastics, Mantic, Perry's, and Warlords. And that's on top of the already cataclysmically good 20% discount you get through Jim at Reaper Games. So like I say, stick around to the end of the podcast and you'll get that code that will net you an extra 10% off. And just getting early, a big, massive thank you to everyone that's watching this on the catch-up. We really do appreciate it.
Hey.
We love you as much as the live people, honest.
I know that Meza said he'll be watching on the catch-up because he's not very well. He's had his second jab, and like me, it's floored him. I've got mine later this week, so I'm really, really looking forward to that. Anyway.
Oh, poor old Meza.
Yes. So that's
actually, we should also say poor old Leon. Leon T66, he was absolutely sideswiped by COVID, even though he'd been double jabbed. Apparently, he's actually now feeling slightly better. But poor old Leon, get better, mate.
Get well, Leon. That sounds like a bit of a crappy time. See, being an antisocial git like me has its benefits. You don't come into contact with the rest of humanity. It's brilliant. As always, I'm joined by my PCP comrades. So up there we have Martin from Seventh Son.
Hello.
Over there we have Dom from Boots on the Table with Dom. And up there, Ken, are you still miniature Wargaming Warrior still?
No, I'm the new War of the Roses Ultramarines now. That's
all right, okay. Well, that's Ken, and I'm Steve from On Point HQ. So let's have a look to see who we've got in the chat with us tonight. I think the numbers are slowly going up. I think there may have been more YouTube shenanigans at the beginning.
Yeah,
swines, honestly. So we've got David Baker, we've got Lazy Pirate Painting, Louis Baby. Our good sponsor, Evil Jim Reaper, is in the chat as well. We've got Crossing Obstacles Gaming, Ham and Jam, Gary Phillips, Harpham, Meza, Evening All, watching on catch up as he's feeling a bit crap after his jab. Miniature Painter, we've got Justin in, Bill Roy, Lionheart, Cat Roger, David, Shakos and Sprues, Culloden, Jim Freeday. Hello from the afternoon from the States.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Jim. Hello.
Very, very well. Thank you very much, Jim, for joining us all the way from America, especially that time of the day as well. We got Luke. We got Richie the Chap. I think Richie might be a new one as well. I've not seen Richie before. Welcome, Richie.
Welcome.
Allard Roberts, Tim Stevens, Steve Harbour, John Crome, Torbjorn, Battle Knights, another one from across the pond. So we've got Dan Justin from Studio City, California.
Wow.
Hello.
How exciting! All these international people watching us talk rubbish. Brilliant.
We're the international man of mystery.
I wouldn't exactly go that far.
Well, it's been a good night, everyone.
More VS mistakes in good old Travis. Travis. Got Old School FRP. Got Grana Priego, Grandad's Art Space, and Glyn Moss. So, welcome everybody. We're going to get to the main topic later, but as you may have seen from the blurb in the video, tonight we're going to be having a bit of a womble down wargaming memory lane. We're going to be reminiscing about wargaming memories. Some of us have got more memories than others.
Some of you are a lot older than others.
Ken, I'm going to make you feel so young tonight. So some of the things we're going to be talking about, yes. But I just thought it'd be a bit of I'll tell you later on what inspired this, but we'll get to that later on in the show. So first of all, what have we all been up to? Let's start with the king of models himself, Dom. What have you been up to?
I've been doing War of the Roses, surprisingly.
Really?
Have you?
Really surprising that. I know.
Do you know what, Dom?
Yeah, mate.
Paint your fifth army this week, did you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, nearly. And I held back. I did a nice big unit of knights. There you go. That's a whole load of knights. 12 of them.
Nice. Is it the Earl of Essex? Is it?
That is going to be the Earl of Essex's retinue.
Doing it.
Not Essex. Exeter.
Exeter.
Yeah. That's going to join his retinue. It's not him on there, but he is in there. They are some of his retinue lords.
Yeah.
Actually, what I should say, that's all metal. You'll like that. That's all heavy metal. Every
is it?
single
Okay.
figure there is metal.
Even better.
What's the range are they from?
There's a mixed bag there. There's some Perrys. There is some... oh, Christ, I've forgotten. Front rank, and there's the ones that North Star sell. I can't remember what they're called.
Crusader?
Crusader, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's at least 3 different varieties in there, which were quite fun. So I quite enjoyed doing that.
Nice livery. You've done some livery on there, I saw.
It's a transfer, mate. I can't do livery, not like you. I saw your video on it. High quality. Well done, boy. I wouldn't dream of doing that. Mine look like dinosaurs and kippers. I do when I finish them. Absolute shoddy work, mine. This is another retinue of Bo and a bill for one of the Stanleys, William.
Nice.
And then I thought, after I had a game the other day, and there were so many casualties, and I looked back and I didn't like all the counters, so I did some casualty markers.
Yeah.
So I started them off, which I think they're quite cool. I'm a bit annoyed with the armoured guy here on the bottom left. He's I stuck him down and then walked away, and he slid off.
He's still going. He's still going.
And by the time I noticed, the super glue had actually taken effect, so I couldn't actually get him off again. So it was like, oh, well, it's just hanging on for grim life. And then I did the hand cannon things that Sean gave us. I did a unit of them up, which I thought were quite fun. Just to work with my army, and then just because I don't want to just do figures all the time, I did a building. So that's
cool.
That's all I did. It's the Perry one, Renedra plastic. It comes
which
with
is also available through Jim at Reaper Games.
Well, funny enough, that's exactly where I got it from.
So what are they normally £16? So that's less than, I think it's about 10, isn't it? If it goes,
it was 12 or 14. I can't remember, something like that. Yeah. Although the bugger did catch me because I'd ordered 2 of them, and apparently they didn't turn up. Only one turned up. So he said, "Well, do you want a box of Franco-Prussian Germans instead?" So I've got a box of Franco-Prussian Germans instead, or Prussians.
Of course you have.
I haven't made
Can I just put a bet in the next 5 weeks? Dom's going to have painted 757 Franco-Prussian Germans. Just laying that one out there.
I've got the other 16 from the Eagles of Empires that I need to finish off, so I have got to do them first. But I think it's held me back on that. Is that I haven't found the rule set I want to play with it. So once I know what I want to do with it, then I'll fly through those as well. But and also, well, we'll get into the news later, but those bastard Perrys have been at it again, so that it isn't helping in terms of my holding back on the whole Franco-Prussian
Do you know what?
thing.
I think it's time we're getting back on here and call them the bastard Perrys.
I think I'm going to have serious words with those boys. Yeah, serious words. So that's what I've been up to. There's a whole load of other half-painted, but that's it so far.
And good to see you getting back into War of the Rose. It's been a while. It really
I know. Yeah. Mind you, I'm sitting here with the Perry super cannon thing, trying to work out how the hell it goes together. There's no instructions. It's almost like Warlords all over again.
It's really, really easy.
Is it?
Put it
You
on
just
a
lay
base.
pieces on the ground.
Yeah. So that bit just sits on the ground.
Yeah, I worked that bit out.
The other bits go. The other bits go behind it. It goes in a pyramid shape with the little bit at the back, and then because that bit you just held up sits behind it, and it's for recoil.
Which way around does it go? All right. Oh yeah, I got it. Right, I'm with you now. Now I can find it. Now I just need to find a base big enough to do it. Oh,
yeah, my base was
super glue. Glue them together.
Big. I stuck 4 bases together. So I think mine was 120 mil by 80 mil or something like that.
Oh jeez.
Dom, we got a message for you. So one from Marky Sparky. Dom, how do you paint so much so quickly to that standard? Takes him hours to paint anything. Welcome to my world, Marky.
It's pure addiction, nothing more than that, Marky. I literally I told this to Steve a while back. So I have my paint set up where I happen to just walk past pretty much every day, multiple times, and I'll just sit there and paint something as I go past and just do a bit more and then move on. And literally, I've been obsessed with this project. So I just spend every waking moment that I'm not doing something else doing it.
And he doesn't do any work either, by the way.
Well, that's not, I don't do any work, no. That my boss hasn't seen me for a fortnight, but it's fine. I told him I was working on a special project. It's not, it's not untrue.
No, it's kind of, I was about to say. It's still,
Yeah, it's so. I mean, I suppose you could probably class it as a special project. I doubt they would see eye to eye on that point.
I don't want to upset our American viewers, but he's an American. He wouldn't understand anyway, so it's all fine. It's all good.
Another question, Dom. Are you wearing a rugby shirt?
I am indeed, mate. I am wearing the Harlequins, Premiership champions.
That's that Union game, isn't it?
It is that Union game, not what you lot do up north, where you just run into brick walls at each other. This is, this is high quality thuggery. This one,
paint on speed. There we go. Right, Ken, you had a productive week.
Yeah, I finished a unit. Let me get the picture up. You find it. 2 secs.
It's warm tonight, isn't it?
Nah, it's nice down here. I'm sat in thick gym jams.
Oh, that's more information than we need right now. That's much more information than we need.
So, I finished the foot of the Earl of Northumberland.
Oh, nice mud, mate. Well done.
Yeah, it is good, isn't it, that wet mud? I do love it. And as you can see, I have a little obsession with flags. There's 3 flags.
I'm going to give your units a -1 on their dice roll because they haven't got enough weapons. They're going to smack you in the head with a flagpole instead of an actual weapon.
Yeah, they've got flags. They like flags. So, but yeah, no, I've got some short lances in there. I've got poleaxe. I've got some what do you call it? Is in there as well. Some swords are in there. Not as many swords because obviously swords are really crap for frontline getting into armor. You want that heavy axe, don't you, to hit people in the head with and smash it. And but yeah, no, happy with that. And like I say, it's not 100% historically right. So like I've painted on some of the armor panels, the colours,
they did that. They did. They did do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did do that.
Oh, there you go. I'm okay. But the Earl of Northumberland, I'm glad he's done now. So I've done both of them. So I've done a mounted and I've done a foot one. So yeah, I'm just working on. Yeah, I'm just working on some crossbow stuff. I managed to get a game in with Martin this week as well, which was
yes, sir. We'll chat about that a little bit when I do.
We'll come on to that a bit later, but yeah, that was interesting. Thank you very much.
Like your work there, Ken.
Cheers, Nick. Appreciate it.
And Todd from Wardrobe Plays World War II. Those minis are incredible. Yeah. High praise there.
Thank you. I hate it when people comment on my minis and say they're nice because I really think they're shit.
You know what?
Would you rather we just said they're crap, mate? Is that what
crap? Yeah. Try again.
I'm exactly the same. It's like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it's nice. Exactly. It's really nice that people think they're.
No, it is.
It is because when you think about it, like I thought about it today. Actually, it was really strange. It was only when I was going up to Martin's and he said, "I'll bring a few Lord of the Ring minis." So I thought, "Oh, okay, I've got some Mordor stuff that I wanted to just check out to see if I painted it all." And I got it out and I looked at it and I looked at the Moria goblins that I painted recently and I thought, "Holy shit, that is a lot of difference there." And that's only like a year and a half, 2 years difference. and you can tell that I've improved. But you don't. It's like getting taller, isn't it? You don't notice yourself. It's
You're
one of
talking
them.
to the wrong person.
I was going to say, at my age, I'm getting shorter now because the age does that to you as well.
I didn't notice I was normal size one day and then woke up.
Just you're looking down all the time.
Yeah,
It's that weird lager you insist on drinking, Steve. I think that's what's doing it to you.
I don't drink weird lager.
Oh, whatever that grapefruit stuff you were drinking the other day. Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't know Men of the Cloth wore Jim Jams. Yes, we do. That's Laura, that is. That's Laura coming at me. She calls them Jim Jams.
Jim Jams.
Yeah, Jim Jams, yeah.
Love it.
You all knew what I meant, though.
So, yeah, sadly we did. Yeah.
It's true. It's very true.
Martin, what did you get up to?
I had a week off painting and it was bloody lovely. So no, I decided partially had it forced on me, but I thought I'm not, because work was really busy, I'm not gonna do any painting, but I did get in technically 4 games, so I was quite happy. So we'll just start with this one. So this was Kings of War midweek with my mate Kev, which was great fun. So that's the giant bases of men code. So what you're actually looking at is only, because on my stuff is the stuff on the left, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases on there. Plus a few extras, but I really enjoyed that. It was so much fun. It really is good. I think I might try and actually put a game on the channel. We'll see what happens.
Is it true that it takes longer to set the game up than it does to play it, judging by all the death and destruction?
Yeah, well, if you're attacked, I just got to put stuff down and go, all right, if it's in the wrong place, I'll learn. That's kind of the but no, it's good fun. Good fun. I lost, but yeah, good fun.
Hang on, newsflash: Martin lost. Sure, what's going on?
Yes, I know. And then on Saturday, there was I had a visitor, and now before I put this photo up, Ken, why don't you explain to the lovely people at home what your cunning plan was, so that because you didn't have a car, explain to everyone what you did.
Right. So I didn't have a car because last minute Laura had to go to work, so I had to get to Cambridge. So I had about a week's notice. So I might have contacted some car dealerships and asked them for a 24-hour test drive. And it possibly might have paid off, and I ended up getting a said car because I wasn't paying for a hire car, because that was like £100 and something, and I got it for absolutely jack shit.
And here he is, arriving at my house in that lovely looking BMW.
Yeah, you are the ultimate blagger. You are the ultimate.
But the best thing is, he pulled up. We got all his stuff out, and then he couldn't work out to lock it. So here's the next photo. That's him on the phone to the dealership trying to ask them how to lock the car.
Oh, quality!
Wandering around. So that was amazing. But we had a very big game of Black Powder. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what happened because there will be a battle report. But that was my view across one quarter of the table.
Do you know what?
Have you seen this man? There's a name, Brother Elves, Cambridge, showing off his French ultra for his stay indoors. It was really nice actually, because we didn't use any like what do we call it? Like we used casualty markers for the whole thing near enough, didn't we? It was like
until we got near the end when there were so many casualties we couldn't actually keep up.
Yeah, we had to put dice on the end, didn't we?
It got to the point where the units weren't quite leaving the board, so everyone was racking up shaken and casualties, and we ran out. But just to give you like a little look, here is this is my Hanoverians defending against a few French columns coming up the hill. But we won't.
It was a really good game.
It was a really good game. And it was a game of like, it was really, because we were
swinging, wasn't it? It was like a swing.
7.5 foot by 4 and a bit foot board. The battlefield definitely broke down into 2 distinct two separate battles. We were playing 4 brigades. Well, no, Ken had 4 brigades. I had 3 brigades, but it was a defensive game. So it was good fun. No points. Just sort of come up with a scenario and then threw it together. And then afterwards, we were going to have a game of bolt action, but I thought Ken would bring the rule book because I don't have it. When I assume he probably thought the same thing. And even though we probably both know the rules, we don't know all the weapon stats, so we didn't have a game of bolt action. So we had 2 games of Operation Squad. So there's our table. Quickly,
we have three games. We played 3 games.
Did we? We did have 3 games. Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so
that's a good game. That is.
And how brutal is it, Ken? If you get caught in the open?
Yeah, very. Yeah, I will, you haven't done a battle report for this, have you? So
no,
I won all 3 games. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So what happened? So deployed, and because it comes down to initiative, Ken just got his MG42 and just rinsed like a third of my squad in the first turn. Because I stupidly deployed them in the open. That was it. And although there was this moment where he had you see that road going down the middle. I had a medic, we'll call him Godfrey, in this plowed field, who was going to run over the road and over that obstacle to a wounded man who was near the cart. Ken had a guy set up at the end of the road, and he basically said, well, I'm going to run across there. And he said, well, my reaction is I'm going to shoot you as you run across. So obviously it comes down to that, right? Whoever gets higher on the dice is acting first. So it comes down to this moment where Godfrey thought he'd made it, and then he was in the line of sight of someone else, and he just got killed by them instead.
The weapon profiles in that are awesome because each weapon is represented. Yeah. So that's what's really cool.
There's a lot more. I have to put up a picture from someone from last week because I said I'd do it and I forgot last week because it was separate. So for last week, Miller had done loads of 15mm ECW from Steel Fist, and I forgot to put that up, and they were well nice. And nice. I'm very sorry that I forgot to do it. So
very nice.
But they are very cool. Although I think that cost quite a lot of money.
Yeah, he was saying in the video, wasn't he, how much they are very, very expensive, and that was almost as much. I think they're more than a 28mm block.
Yeah, but the pikes are brush bristles, aren't they? Broom brush bristles.
That's right. I think that's what he said he did.
Yeah, they are very cool. So anyway, there we go. So yeah, that was my week. What about you, Steve? What did you do?
I finished them.
No, you didn't. Did you actually?
There's 5 more somewhere else. Don't worry.
No. They're all done. So last week, if you're watching it, I was lamenting the fact
you were pissed.
I was pissed that I'd found 5 figures because I was in that joyous end of project mood, like, ooh, I get to work on some armor now. And then I found 5, and so I sat down and I literally didn't move from this desk until I'd painted them. And then I put them all on the table, and this is what they looked like. Where are they? I can't find them.
So many pictures up.
Do you know you say you finished them, Steve?
Yeah.
I might have accidentally sent you some.
You bastard. That was meant to be them all. Every single one of them was right there. I'm going to speak to the Cardinal about you. This is Cardinal. Pretty sure your mate upstairs wouldn't agree to stuff like this, honestly.
Oh, brilliant.
What I like, what's so special about this is that every single one of those figures, about 58 of them, every single figure is converted or kit bashed.
It's great, isn't it?
There isn't a single figure on there that hasn't been changed in some way.
You're out.
And then we got a bit of a close-up shot of the chaps there.
Job.
But I was so made up. Well, it was until Ken told me what he's done.
I haven't, mate. Don't worry, I haven't.
Haven't you? I'll be getting Dom's referee yellow cut. Yeah, there we go.
Hang on, I've got to find it first. There's too many bloody pictures on here. Hang on, there we go.
Yeah.
Yellow card, mate.
Yellow card for you.
Excellent.
So, with all that finished, I went and purchased the armored support for these guys. So I bought a Hellcat and a Greyhound, and I started the Hellcat over the weekend. And if you saw Facebook before, I'm convinced this build has been cursed. So
you did get pretty pissed today with that. Was it today or yesterday? You got very pissed.
Yes, I was very annoyed. So that's what it looked like last night, on a temporary base. But that took hours and hours, because, like I said to Warren in the Facebook group today, when I tried whitewash camouflage, and I've never tried it before, and what it actually looked like was as if a load of angry seagulls had shat all over it. instead of whitewash camouflage, it looked like poo. So I was distraught. I was like, I've just ruined a perfectly good tank. I've got a perfectly good vehicle here. So I spent, it must have been about 3 or 4 hours yesterday just rescuing it with a piece of sponge and a dry brush. But I was quite happy with the stage it got to. The weathering, the mud and the snow, it's just hiding so many mistakes. It's unbelievable.
Love it, Steve. You need a bit of blood on it, mate. That's what I think.
There's no SS battalion going to go on that basis, though.
No.
Really nice. That's a good job.
I'm not doing any kind of tribute to Fury. But that was my weekend. But tonight, that's it now.
Dom with his brush.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it was me with a brush. That's very nice.
New base.
Really
I'll
good.
take some footage after that later. And that was despite me and my trip to the first aid kit before, because I managed to put a craft knife through my thumb.
Hey, I told you needed some blood on it.
Fucking hell, Steve.
Do you know? And the daft thing is, I didn't actually. What I was trying to do, I was trying to halve a piece of cork, like rather than lengthwise, through it to reduce it by half. And I thought, this is going to be difficult. And literally, as I said, it's going to be difficult. The blade shot through the piece of cork and embedded itself into my thumb.
There you go. Shaco thinks it's true. It's because it's on the base. That's why it's cursed. There you go.
It's not cursed. All the best vehicles are on bases. But yeah, the claret was flowing. I was quite worried that it was going to be a bad one. But it isn't. It's actually quite minute. It's just that the sticking a craft knife through your thumb, not the greatest feeling on a Monday or any other day, quite frankly.
Do you always do your thumb one? That's always the one that you have to then unlock your phone and every other device with, and it bloody won't work because you cut into it. That's what I always do.
I've just started playing a really cool video game, Hollow Knight. And it's really good. And I've hurt my thumb, so my reflexes, the cork has been tricked. I don't blame the cork. I blame my own stupidity.
Cork is never to blame.
No, it isn't. I love cork. No, I was just going at it like two ram stam, and then I ended up going straight through the cork. And I've never painted Hungarian. In fact, I've never painted any Hungarian figures. Have you got a Hungarian army done?
I have, yeah. I thought
you did.
I did did a siege one for the
games, was it?
It's a real mixed bag. No, I all sorts are in my one. I can't even remember where they all came from, but there are loads of different figures, and I put them all on rubble bases and stuff like that for the what was the supplement? Fortress Budapest. That's it.
Yeah.
And I have only ever used them once. Our club just doesn't seem to be big into bolt action. I really like bolt action, but we only ever play once in the blue moon.
Oh, I told you about my upcoming bolt action project, didn't I?
You did.
That's going down a rabbit hole. It's going to be another 100% kit bashed project. So I'm doing the 1st Battalion of the Queen's Own Cameron Highlanders in Birmingham. Birmingham? Birmingham. What the hell?
Birmingham.
Nobody was deployed to Birmingham. That's too scary.
It's too warm. But in Burma, 1942. So it's going to be another one of those every single figure kit bash dealy projects that I really like doing.
Do you know, I really fancy doing another bolt action army.
Yeah, you mentioned
after it the other day, but I think I'm put off by the amount of freewheeling and freestyling that you're doing with yours, and I'm thinking I'm just going to do them off the sprue. I mean, you know,
it's what that I think that's my standard now. I can't build something just straight out of a box. I've got to add to it or change it in some way. It's why I won't do any more metal armies, because I don't. It's limited scope, and given my knife related tomfoolery this afternoon, I don't particularly want to be going into losing limbs.
No knives are allowed around you anymore. That's for sure.
No,
I've actually got Germans yet.
No. Although I was really tempted to that the new US D-Day sector book. Just some cracking ideas for bolt action projects in there. Those the recon division. So just an army just full of M10s or Hellcats. It just looks so
the
good.
one I'm thinking of doing. I just love the idea of that. It looks great fun. So you make a few infantry, can't you? But it's mainly vehicles.
It's mainly vehicles. I think for that you'd just take one or two sections just to take objectives and things like that. But that'd be so much fun to model. I mean, painting, you can paint up to 9 like Hellcats around. I mean, there's even some really good German ones in there as well, like anti-tank platoons. I mean, what? There's nothing wrong with that statement at all. Anti-tank platoon.
I know, it's quality. I like that's what they've started to do with the bolt action list now, where they have these platoons with the heavy weapons all sort of built into them. They started off in the Japanese ones, when they had the machine guns built in and the knee mortars in them. But now in that book, they've got them for. I think the Americans have a machine gun squad, don't they? And the Germans have the anti-tank squad, and it's really cool. I really like it.
It's really weird because they're doing this. Why don't they just bring out a version 3 of the rules?
Oh, Ken, that's controversial right there, Ken.
Lost but not forgotten in Birmingham. 7 victorious, 1 released from captivity in 1956. I've
got no idea how I could confuse Burma with Birmingham. I'm actually quite scared about that. But no, that latest book, I think that's really elevated the US Army and bolt action to the next level. I just think there's going to be so many really cool theatre selectors people are going to be running.
But they're one of the better armies anyway, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, you have the national characteristics, the move and fire, so you don't get the -1. And they've got a lot of firepower. I mean, I run US Marines, and I love running them. So many dice being thrown out. It's unbelievable.
That's what I thought. I've played them a few times. My mate Jono loves playing the Americans, and so I played them a lot. And they are vicious buggers. They come at you, and as you say, they don't slow down. They spray fire everywhere, and mostly they're veteran as well, which he seems to run.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God.
I always run my USMC as veterans. I mainly play against my mates, Imperial Japanese, and they get a bit beaten up on the way there. But once they get within 12 a short range or point blank, the amount of firepower you can bring to bear. I normally take three veteran squads. It's just dice all over the place.
I'm gonna do it.
Right, so tonight's theme: wargaming memories. Do you want me to show you what prompted this?
Go on.
I was looking through one of my bits boxes the other day, and I found this. Where is it?
Dun 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 dun.
What's it gonna be?
That.
Oh, what the friggin' hell is that?
That's an old beaky.
That is an Adeptus Mechanicus, and that was made in 1987.
That's an Adeptus Mechanicus. It's not even a beaky.
No, Adeptus Mechanicus.
Wow.
I bet that's worth a bit of change, Steve.
I've got no idea.
But it is.
But as you can see, that was painted by a 13-year-old Steve, as you can tell, because it's. It's
Hang on, did you say 1987?
No, I got this in. It's in 97. I painted this in 1991 when I first got into the hobby.
Just being born, Steve, literally.
I know. That's why I mentioned it. So that because I hadn't seen that miniature in years, and it just got me thinking about, where I started in the hobby, and to where I am now. And another thing that really prompted it was this. This was White Dwarf 141.
Nice. That cover's awesome.
Ah, I have that one. Still.
That was my first ever copy of White Dwarf that my parents bought for me. And in it was a battle report between the Eldar and the Blood Angels. It was Andy Chambers against Jervis Johnson. And that Christmas, I asked Mum and Dad to get me the exact Blood Angels army that had been featured in that battle report, and that was my first sort of entry into wargaming. So
they didn't have to sell a kidney either, mate, to get it.
No, back then, so 30 years ago, 30 Beaky Marines for $11.99.
Beautiful.
Do you know what you'd get? You know what you get now for $11.99?
Fuck
thrown out of the shop.
They'd laugh at you, wouldn't they?
They'd be like, 12 quid? Sorry, what?
Yeah, we got some chewing gum at the counter for that. Maybe.
But that got me thinking. So that was my earliest wargaming memory. So what about you guys? What was your first wargaming memory? Dom, I'll start with you. Imagine you've got plenty.
So it starts out like 2001: A Space Odyssey when
exactly, yeah.
Except it's a dice.
I still hold to the fact my collectomaniac tendencies, particularly for Napoleonics, goes back to my school days when I used to play, the old D&D and what have you with my mates, and like everyone did, and I was really into history battles and fights and what have you. Don't know why, but I was. And I had all those sort of Airfix figures that we all had, and I used to play with them and throw marbles at them with my mates and what have you, which generally resulted in everything in the house being thrown at them, including each other. But then I went round to my mate's house, and his dad was into serious figure games. And I must have been about 15, 14 maybe. And I went around to his house, and he had the entire Confederation of the Rhine forces, every single battalion formation. I think they were done for the Grand Manor in 15 mil. And he had them all laid out on the table. I mean, literally every battalion he'd done, every gun he'd done, and they were all there. And it was just like, things went off in my head, and it was like, and after that, and I never had the money to do it. So now that's kind of partly why I got a bit obsessed with it. But I loved it, absolutely loved it. Thank you, Jason. You git. I just saw that. I was meeting the Stanleys, he said. Yeah, it wasn't. I'm not that old, but yeah. I'm trying to find the pictures, and I've tried to find it before, but this will not show, will it? Can you see that? Can you see that? That is a Battle of Waterloo.
Kind of, yeah.
You can see it. I'm trying to find the original pictures, but it's so old that I can't actually find it. But it made it into a mouse map all these years ago, and that was a fantastic memory. When you go down to these big battle days, they used to be held all over the place, but they don't seem to happen anymore, unfortunately. And I went to the refight of Waterloo. It was just outside Oxford somewhere. And it was literally an entire, like a scout hall, if they still exist, I don't know whether they do. And they had a massive range of tables and thousands of figures. And I played Wellington, and we literally refought Waterloo there. And then I went back a few months later and played Bautzen as well. Took an Austrian cavalry command, which was also fantastic. And those sort of things just bring loads of really, really good memories. Those sort of big games, lots of figures. All that kind of cool stuff. But then there's loads of others, like individual battles with people and having a right old laugh. But mainly nowadays, it's the companionship and the laugh you have around the table. Every time someone rolls a stupid dice. That kind of
when you first got into it, I know it's purely historicals, but were you ever tempted to go to the dark side and do a bit of like sci-fi or fantasy?
Not really, no. I mean, I was fascinated I loved Lord of the Rings as a kid and The Hobbit, and I think it was the first proper book I read was The Hobbit. I loved it, and so I was really into all that kind of stuff. But I never. It's about the people you game with, isn't it? And nobody I really gamed with was into fantasy or sci-fi. So apart from we used to play. So back then, when I was a real young lad, probably around the same time as I saw those Napoleonics, I used to go to a club in Heston, just near Heathrow Airport. And they used to do a special club night once a year, and the guy had his own set of fantasy rules, which was a bit like rock, paper, scissors. You were given these sheets with your character where you could take an action and then it led on to another action, and depending on they'd spent months producing it or years producing this thing, and that was a fantasy game. That was the only fantasy game I ever used to play. But they did these amazing terrain, like mountainsides and then the tunnels underneath, and you had about 3 characters, and you were good or bad or what have you. And generally, I got killed within the first half an hour of the match, but it was great fun, and I loved all that. But no, I never really played it. It was always historical for me.
So it must have been, right about that time, was when sort of Games Workshop was emerging. So was it just no interest or nobody that played it? Or
I used to go in and look at. I still do. I go in and look at the stuff, and you just pick up paints and stuff. But no, I did have a flutter years ago now, probably about 15 years ago, doing 40k. Only because my mate Nick and he said, "Oh, should we have a go at it?" I think he had an army because he used to play with his son, so I got one. But it was so terrible, I didn't enjoy it at all, so we stopped playing that.
What edition? What edition would that have been?
I don't honestly know.
Ken might help us out on this. Was it 15 years ago?
More than that, probably 20 years ago.
That might have been third if it was 20 years ago.
Second or third, yeah.
I probably only threw away the rules fairly recently. So
I've actually got third. It's the one with the Black Templars on the front. That would have been about 1999, 2000. The rule book was black.
That would be about the right time, and it had some character on the front doing something really weird. I can't remember now, but I had Imperial Guards. Was that the one?
Yeah,
with them.
Did you get those because they were the closest to Napoleonic?
Probably, yeah. I like the tanks. I think that was what I liked.
Yes.
And also, I did buy is it the Tau? I did buy them at one point as well.
The fish.
Surprise! I went crazy and bought 2 armies and built them very quickly.
You pick 2 armies that are like a mass troops as well. You don't pick elite troops.
I did sell them all. I did make quite a lot of money on the Imperial Guard. I sold them all on eBay a few years ago and made quite a bit of money out of them. I was surprised myself, actually. I was all ready to chuck them in the bin. I thought, no. And so I sold them. But and the Tau I sold at some show years before that. I don't think I got a good price for them. But anyway. Yeah, so that was it as far as I went, really. It was just historical. It's always been historical. I do get the hankering. So I play a bit. I do like the Saga Age of Magic. That's good fun. I've had some really good games of that.
You like Lord of the Rings, though, Dom. Why don't you play Middle-earth strategy battle game? It's
because nobody else plays. That's the pure and simple reason. And nobody else I play with plays any kind of fantasy games. And somebody I know came over to play a game of Oathmark once, and that was great fun, but he's never come back and played it again. So
I was actually going to message you and say, do you want to play that on Wednesday? I was actually going to ask, do you want to play it Wednesday?
So that's it, it is about who you play with, right? So if we've talked about this many times on the stream, it's if your buddies are into something, it's like any kind of rule set, isn't it? I mean, I'd love to play some different rule sets, but if nobody plays them, what's the point? You'll stick with the familiar ones that everyone plays, and it's the same with periods. So,
that's like me. I mean, I've mentioned on here that I've got one sort of regular opponent, and pure 99% historical. Well, we are venturing into Era 1.
I want to play that too. See,
I think as far as sci-fi goes, I think we're going to try Conflict 47 because it's sort of just bolt action with big giant mechanical spiders. So,
what could possibly go wrong there?
What could possibly go wrong there? It's essentially the same game. It looks really good, and all you do is just add things to your existing bolt action armies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun. I could see that being quite amusing, and I'd like to do. Oh God, I can't remember the samurai one that's slightly fantasy. I quite like that one as well.
Bushido. No,
Or either of
Bushido.
those. Either Bushido, because I've got Testamon, and Testamon is relatively
Bushido, yeah, looks really
straightforward.
nice.
So yeah, I'd like to do that too. But it's so many systems, no time to do them, right? So you play once or twice once.
Oh, that
or twice
reminds
if
me.
you're lucky.
That reminds me. Ken, you picked up your Christmas present, didn't you?
I did, mate. Yeah, my Italians.
What happened to mine, Steve?
Oh shit! Yeah, I still got yours.
We were like, I sent it over, and he was like, "What is it?" I was like, I
Hang
don't
on.
know.
I have to pop that in the post to you, mate. Yeah, it's
No, don't worry.
Bring the crack on.
It was like,
Oh, yeah,
Like, he was like, what did Steve get? He was like, I think it was Bushido, but it was out of stock.
Yeah, and then I had to cancel that and then reorder through Goblin. It's some guy with a big, massive, great big meat cleaver, from what I remember.
Oh, see, that sounds amazing.
Hang on, I've just got to give GP this. Sorry,
I was waiting for that.
I didn't notice it, but I did. You're warned.
Right, Ken, over to you, because I know you took a slightly different journey to the rest of us. So what's your earliest gaming memory?
I did. Well, I don't know if you technically class it as gaming. Really, I've said in the past, haven't I? About sorry, let me just put that down. I've said in the past about like my mum and that bought stuff home from the charity shop, like loads of 40k stuff and stuff like that. But thinking before that, I used to play with, do you know the little plastic army men you get, like all kids do, like the tan and the green? So I used to play with that. I used to set them up and like one end of the living room, the other end of the living room, and chuck a missile at them, a bit like Dom with his Airfix by the sound of it.
Yeah, I think we all had something.
I think
like that
we all
start.
we all started like that.
So that technically would probably be my earliest thing, and I did that from about the age of 6. So I did that for a few years. So I was doing that, and then when I was about probably like I say 10, maybe 10, 11, it was a Warhammer that I didn't know was Warhammer, and it just looked cool, and I didn't understand any of it. So we just made up our own stuff. Like you roll a 6, you can kill it or whatever. That was like the earlier stuff. But then properly getting into Wargaming was with my mate Liam, and that was 40k. And getting into like the story and stuff like that was really cool. Love the story of 40k.
Yeah, because it's the lore that gets you with 40, doesn't it? And that's what
I love it. I've listened to probably, I think it's 25 or 30 of those Black Library books all the way through. I love it. Absolutely love it. I've completed loads of the story arcs as well. So like with the Black Library books there, you don't have to listen to them in order. You can skip certain ones that just deal with the story you're listening to. So I've finished certain stories. So I've done the Blood Angels, I've done the Dark Angels. Who else is it? And
the yellow
just
one.
finished it. Oh yeah, I've done the Imperial Fish. Yeah, I've done the Imperial Fish. The yellow one's fucking hell, mine. And I've done like the Garrow. So Nathaniel Garrow is probably my favourite character in, and Garville Loken. They're probably my favourite characters in the Heresy series. No, really, really enjoy it. And the Alpha Legion, if you go in Heresy, but are they heretics? Are they not? You don't know. People who know the Alpha Legion will know that. But then historical wise, it was bolt action. It started off with bolt action, but then I was in the same mindset with 40k. You have to play it in a certain way, but you don't. And it's just developed from there. And speaking to you lot, really, it's all developed. It's War of the Roses at the minute. Fucking Martin.
It's true.
You make things look too nice. That's the problem. You get so passionate about things, and people are like, "Oh yeah, that's actually really cool. I'd like to do some of that." So next time you release a video, can you go, "This is shit. I don't like this anymore." Can you do that for us?
I can try. Yeah, I can try it.
Yeah, and you know what he's like. He'll say, "Oh, this is the best thing ever. Fantastic. Get into it." And then about 3 weeks later, he'll go, "It's absolute rubbish. Don't buy it." By which time we've already put our orders in.
I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is an interesting comment from Marky Sparky. He's never played any Warhammer of any sort. Doesn't appeal to him. Some of the figures look good, but a lot don't appeal visually either. How important is that to you, then?
What, for them to look good?
Yeah.
What now? Yeah, massive. I love figures that look awesome. I love my bases, the diorama sort of bases. It's like my units now. Each individual person is not just stuck on there. They're part of a whole organic movement. So if you look at that base I've done with Northumberland, each guy has got a purpose, and you can imagine him in real life individually walking up the battlefield. Sounds really weird, but I like put my vision into what that would look like through that guy's visor if I'm looking up a battlefield. So that's how I do with my poses and stuff. So I try not to get anywhere. So if I've got someone swinging a sword, I won't have someone standing in front of them. They'll be at the front of the front rank, because it would just look wrong. So they're kind of like mini dioramas, really, if you think about it.
I know what you mean, because if I'm kit bashing a bolt action unit, a good example of this was 2 weeks ago. I had the day off, and my better half was here. And I was just planning. It was like not the last 5, but the next to last 5. And I was getting all in a tizzy because I couldn't find the right arm to go on this body. And I searched for 25 minutes.
Oh, it's fucking annoying, isn't it, Steve?
Looking for the right arms, because I just wasn't happy with the ones that I'd chosen. And she was like, "I thought this hobby was meant to be fun." I was like, "It is fun. It's massive fun." But I was getting really, really pissed off because I couldn't find arms to fit this body that, in my mind, I wanted it to look like. I don't know whether that's just some kind of massive OCD or not, but I think you do reach that level, then.
Yeah, I've kind of slowed down with my painting now. Like in regards to, I just, especially with certain projects, like when I start a project, I'll decide whether or not it's going to, the models are going to look to what standard they're going to look. So like my American Civil War project, my epic stuff, they're not going to have all the extra singing or dancing highlights and all that jazz. So I'm quite happy with that.
Good timing there. Ken, how are you getting on with the ACW stuff?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. I've done a couple of officers as well. So I'm doing this unit of crossbowmen, and then I'll be back doing another ACW regiment. Then I'll be doing a Lord of the Rings thing, because I've done Lord of the Rings, finished that off. That's why I'm doing this. I did I did Lurtz last week, didn't I? I forgot about that. Yeah, I did him as well actually last week. He was done base, so that's another thing. But yeah, I'll be doing this, and then I'll be doing another regiment of those, probably a cannon or something, and then I'll go and just keep rotating. It seems to be working quite well actually.
So back when you were first started playing 40k, then, could you imagine, fast forward a couple of years, you'd be so immersed into Wars of the Roses?
Couple. Yeah, it's a couple, isn't it? Will I be so immersed into Wars of the Roses? No, because I wasn't even thinking about Wars of the Roses. I always thought about, when I thought of history, medieval, I always thought about the 100 Years' War. That's why King Henry V, the best king we've ever had, but there we go.
Not really, though.
Yeah, really.
Not really, though.
That don't even fucking start. Richard of fucking York.
He was so good that the Wars of the Roses happened, and his legacy was torn apart. His son was shit, and everything fell apart, and we ended up with Henry VIII. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but exactly. Who's your favourite king? Who's your favourite king?
Edward IV. He humped his way into a grave. What's not like he killed everyone, ate everything he wanted, and then just died. Great.
Martin wins.
What the hell? He sounds like the medieval version of Lemmy.
It sounds quality, doesn't he? I like
He basically was.
How much fun would he be on a night out in Leicester? Jeez,
there's a little sketch.
You'd probably rename it Martintown.
There's a little sketch of him, right? This contemporary sketch. So if you look at him, like one of the portraits of him, and he's like, chiseled jaw. I'm going to cut you in half. And then there's like this little sketch like done in the later years, and his face looks like blancmange because he's got so many podgy.
Blancmange.
Yeah.
Christ.
Blancmange, I love it.
Lovely stuff. Okay, Martin. So moving on to you. I know. Me and you've got sort of a similar path journey, haven't we, into wargaming?
Yeah, I guess so.
So what's your earliest memory?
What's my earliest memory? My earliest memory of wargaming is wargaming that I saw was actually at one of the recreation days at the Battle of Bosworth Field, and I was about 8. And we went to that. I remember my parents took me, and there were some people refighting it. I don't know what system they're using, but they had all these painted knights, and I'm trying to ignore Paul's paint shed's comment. Yeah, actually, sorry, can I just go back? Kaiser's got it. Look, and I agree. Edward IV, so powerful, he didn't even need to fight the French. They paid him to leave. They didn't do that to Henry. Edward turned up and he went,
because Henry was a true conqueror. There we go.
Well, yeah, but he lost it all.
He didn't lose it all. His stupid son.
Anyway,
we're not even starting with that.
Anyway, sorry, yeah. So I was watching the recreation.
How knobby is this an argument about bloody British kings that died hundreds of years ago? I love it. It's brilliant.
I know, it's great.
Carry on.
I watched him play it, but my first experience was with a packet of 6 plastic Space Marines and an issue of White Dwarf where you got a free cardboard battle bunker, and it was just basically me and my friends at school kind of got into that. But I was a little bit different to Dom because I couldn't get anyone interested in historicals. That was my problem. None of my friends wanted to do that. So it was a real pain in the ass because I wanted to do things with knights and castles. And, I played with, you guys playing with those army men. Do you remember knights that used to be, you could pull back and let go and then they'd go and joust? You could. Yeah, I had stuff like that. I had little toy trebuchets. And I've still got in the loft, my plastic toy castle from when I was about 6.
Not that fucking playing, whatever it's called.
No, it's like a no.
You know what I mean, though, don't you?
No, I know. I've looked at it and it doesn't scale right. So we did that. That was 2nd edition, and we played like a lot of that. And I remember going down Games Workshop and learning how to play. And I used to go to Peterborough with my dad. My dad worked there, and he'd take me with him, and I'd just go off to the Games Workshop. It's I've just seen Bill Roy's comment as well. That's sweet. Did they lose though? Because Richard of York is the 17th great grandfather of our current Queen. So, and Henry. So, how's that work?
But is he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but he is.
Yeah, but is he?
Well, that's stupid. That's like you say, like. But I know they lost. I think Richard III. I don't think Richard III did a particularly good job as king. He failed. That was my sort of earliest memories. Was just going around lots of different Games Workshops in lots of different towns. But I started off on 40k, and it was actually quite a while before I got into fantasy again because I had to convince my friends to do it. It really did take quite a while to get them into it. But then it was a long time, and then eventually I got into Flames of War. Actually, first what happened was Lord of the Rings come out, and then I got into that. But then I went to university and just stopped all kind of gaming related stuff. Came back.
On your mind.
There were many other things on my mind, and then I would come back, and I basically one of my cousins got into it. I bought a Bretonian army, and then I was just in one of our local shops and I saw that the 2nd edition Get Started box for Flames of War, where you got like 3 Stugs or 3 Shermans and 2 Stugs. Bought that, and then slowly with that managed to convince more of my friends to play historicals, and then I just started buying as many games as I possibly could and convincing my friends to buy them. And that's kind of.
Is that fucking thingy of this provenance of doing this to people? It's like trains from a young age how to convince war games.
It's true. Can't argue with that.
Yeah. No, so it was like quite a roundabout way. So yeah, it was. But I guess so. My passion's always been history above everything. I mean, that's mainly what my job involves. So that's always been what I wanted to do. And the Wars of the Roses thing is the project I've always wanted to do. And it was only when I went to Salute and got suckered by that deal that they were doing that I ended up doing. What the hell is this? Am I clutching at straws? No, because York lost and Lancaster lost and Tudor won. So there we go. That's not clutching at straws. Don't even get me started.
Please get him started. Please.
Don't get me started. You don't want to get me started. What the hell? I'm gonna like not read the comments because.
So it wasn't really Wars of the Roses then, if a Tudor one then.
What are you on about? It wasn't Wars of the Roses to start with. We didn't refer to it to the Wars of the Roses till the Victorian period. And also, it wasn't the red rose wasn't really used until Henry Tudor had it on his flag at Bosworth, along with the dragon and the cross of St George and a bunch of other things. It was the white rose of York was used, but the red rose was just a convenient device that people could come up with. Go, oh, look at this. We'll call it the Wars of the Roses. And it was only called the Cousins' War off of the back of that Philippa Gregory book. I think it was just called A Bad War.
Do we all think that Martin
rebellion.
should do a book on the Wars of the Roses and release it and publish it? I think it would be an interesting read.
No, it'll just be me ranting.
Hands up in the chat if you want to hear that. If you want to see that,
It'll just be me ranting and just going on about how Edward IV is great and everyone else was a dick.
So a really unbiased approach then.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I was having a chat with someone the other day. I can't remember who it was. Might even have been my mum. And my mum is like,
dick.
no. My mum. I was basically it was actually my mum because it was yesterday. In fact, actually, now I think about it, because they were talking about Bosworth, and I was all these things that all the slurring of Richard III's name and all that, and then I kind of pointed out to her, like, no matter how you've got all this, like the shape, the slurring of it, you've got all of the stuff that the propaganda and the fact that his first parliament, he created a court of request, he did loads for the common people, but he still lost, and he was a really ineffectual king, and he made a dumb decision which got him killed and ended a dynasty. So ultimately he wasn't that great a commander, maybe, or king. She didn't like that, so we had a difference of opinion. I can be quite sure she's not watching this. So, but yeah, sorry, yeah, that's a complete difference. No, I just I guess that just playing 40k, lots of very very early games for 40k, and making, like, not knowing the rules and kind of understanding them and then making them up as we go along.
To be fair, I started out playing Rogue Trader, and that's basically what you did. You had the book, and then you thought, don't like that rule, we'll do this one instead. It wasn't really until second ed that they really sort of streamlined it. But that game was so bright. It was just everything about it was vivid and colourful, and just colours everywhere. Okay, so with early memories at the way. Now, this might be more.
Come on, you're going to tell your Herbie.
Oh, I thought I did. It was that figure and my white dwarf.
Oh, you did.
And
sorry. Yeah.
I remember the very first time I went into a Games Workshop store. It was in Lord Street in Liverpool.
1964.
It wasn't 1964, you cheeky get. It would have been 1991. I remember walking in, and it was just like, because I'd been reading the magazines, and we'd been playing our games of Rogue Trader, but to actually go there, it was a great day, and it was a great experience. And yeah, they were just great days in the early 90s playing Rogue Trader, the second ed, just really my formative wargaming years. Just a shame the direction it took, but that's just my own personal rant that I'm not going to go down. But still, still love the lore, still love the background, love the fluff. It's a
so for you guys so this is really for you and Ken. Then, because you both love the lore and everything else. If Games Workshop figures were a reasonable price and they weren't keep faffing around with changing the editions every couple of weeks and making you buy more and more things, would you still rather it over historical gaming?
No, because the game's shit.
Right.
Putting it bluntly, it is crap compared to. I hate that you do all your shit and it takes 3 hours to do a turn, and then I do all my shit. I can't stand that.
No,
I like the interruption play with stuff. I like bolt action. Black powder, at least, it's quicker. It's not as slow. It's just too slow, the game. That's why.
No,
I shouldn't say it's shit. I shouldn't say it's shit. It's wrong. It's not my cup of tea anymore. That's the right thing to say.
No, I'm with Ken. I think I've invested or become too immersed in historical gaming to really. I mean, at a push, it would be at a push on the end of a sharp stick, and probably while someone was playing Morrissey at me. I could get into Kill Team, which it looks quite good.
Yeah, I play Kill Team because you only need like 5 models. So that's quite fun.
Epic as well. That's different.
Yeah. Yes. I know me and Ken rate this every single week, but if they ever did, just go to a complete retro re-release of those early 90s rules and just possibly an upgrade in figures.
Don't even need that really.
No, not really.
Old ones.
I would, and even my mate who he doesn't like that sort of stuff anymore. I guarantee he'd be playing it as well because that game had such an effect on my like I say, my formative gaming years. I loved that game. I can remember painting for hours and hours, just putting together this. It was a Crimson Fist Space Marine army for Space Marine, and I had hundreds of them. And even back then, I was kit bashing and converting. I made my own Vindicators. I made my own Whirlwinds. I just like building things. And then it sort of piddled out. Then they released War Master, and I wasn't keen on that. But yeah, if they ever did go back to, and there's another one here from Crossing Obstacles, Blood Bowl. Yes, I absolutely love that game. Absolutely, I remember in 1994 school holidays, 6 weeks. All we did was play Blood Bowl virtually every single day for 6 weeks. We had so many leagues going on. It was brilliant. But I don't know. Sometimes you just think that, is there a decision you're making? Your wargaming hobby that makes you go off in a certain direction.
Yeah. I don't think I play 40k again, not because of the rule changes or anything like that, because I've still got all my old rule books. I'll just play second edition if I wanted. But I just don't. I think the way I want to game has changed. I like my models being. Don't get me wrong. Like I like playing bolt action, but bolt action is a large skirmish game. It's not a battle game. So skirmish games I don't. But if I'm going to sit there and paint hundreds of models, and I said this before, I actually want them to be on the table for a while. I don't want one round of shooting to mean I've got to get a dustpan and brush and sweep them off the board.
I hate the dustpan and brush approach of some of those rule sets.
And I get it, and I completely understand why, and I get it, and I understand that's a game. But to me, that doesn't encourage me. I also like hobbying. I'd like to think that I'm probably actually more. I'm pretty more like 60% into the hobby side and 40% into the gaming, because I like doing it, and that's my fault. That's something. But at the same time, I want my games to be visually appealing and fun to play. And it's not fun to me to spend months painting something to have it leave the board. And I don't mind if you do something, when you have the moment the rocket goes off and Ken and remove something from the board. That's different because that's just one off. But if you're collecting something like orcs and you had loads of grots, they never make that. I can't remember a single battle where I played my mates orcs and those grots ever made it more than halfway across the board. I can't remember, and that's just, I think my taste in gaming's just changed. I don't think, even though I've got very, very fond memories of that's what they are. It's memories. It's like I told you, do you remember that the kid show Nightmare? Yeah. I have. Ken won't, but I have really, really fond memories of that show Nightmare.
Yes.
I remember coming home from school, getting a bag of crisps, sitting there and being really excited, and then it opened up and you had the really cool animated intro and it's just some awesome rock metal music, and it come in and you had the creepy skull, and it was scary, and it was people would shout at their friends because they walked the wrong way, and then they'd fall off, they'd die, and it'd be great. I rewatched that on Quest or something like that.
It was on Challenge. They re-showed it on Challenge.
It is terrible.
It
was so bad, and to me that's a bit like where I am with my gaming. I have very, very fond memories of playing all these games, and that's what they are now. and my current gaming, I'm very happy. So I don't really want to go back and play these games. I have very fond memories of them. I've still got some of my armies. I probably won't get rid of them. They're just there for, I guess for nostalgia's sake now.
I am very envious. I always have been of that whole Games Workshop stuff that you can walk into pretty much any town and there'll be stuff, and there'll be a shop, and the fact that kids all over the place play it. Whereas again, I'm old enough to remember when there were actually wargaming shops that sold historical stuff as well, but they were never as prevalent and clearly never as successful because they're not there anymore. Largely, there's been a bit of a renaissance of these bigger out of town places, which are great, and there's a few independents still around, but largely they've died out. And I've always been very envious of that, which I think is always, kind of my bit about 40k and Warhammer and all that kind of stuff is like, they do nice models. I'm not a modeler, as you know, but
I think you're missing out on the Lord of the Rings thing, Dom, because even that, I'm collecting it at the moment, and I'm doing it. But that aspect for me side of thing is when I get room, because you've got room already. I'll go through scenario campaigns, and if I've got to do them on my own, I'll do them on my own. I'm doing it to recreate the book and the films. I just love that aspect of it. So I reckon you probably quite enjoy it because that rule set's really good as well.
It is, in my opinion, it's the best rule set Games Workshop put out.
Yeah, it's a really good rule set.
Look, after I finished
Battle Knights, you're going to get a red card. Stop it.
I'm painting 95th rifles at the minute, but once I've done that, I'm going to be sticking in together. That's AMR. So
I look at those. I mean, Lord of the Rings was on the other night again. It's always on, on Sky and whatever. I was watching it again. It's such a brilliant thing, and I look at it, and every time I think, oh, I should do it. I should do what Ken says, and then I think I've got thousands of bloody other figures to do.
Sell them, Dom.
No, you can't sell your figures. They're your children. Can't do that.
What can't you believe, Klein?
Their belts are black. I've just finished doing all the black on them, and I've just looked, and their belts are black. And I've got to go back and do all the belts. It's just annoying. So I was about to put the black away, and I know there's 16 of them.
Oh,
95th. Oh yeah, they got black belts, mate.
I know.
They're kicking the French asses with the black belts in karate.
So I was going to say, on top of gaming memories, then, has anyone? I know we've all got them. A particular game that stands out, where it's either gone really wrong, really bad. You've had a real cretinous opponent.
Yes. 100%.
Go on, Ken. Lay it on us.
My first game with Dom playing Muskets and Tomahawks. That time I rolled the 6s. His face was absolutely priceless, and I'll never forget it. That was brilliant. I thought that was probably one of my favourite wargaming moments because it all went right. It's like, militia don't really do a lot. They're not too bad. No, it wasn't militia. What was it? It was just Continentals, wasn't it?
It was just you were firing at a ridiculous range with very little ability of hitting. Yeah, and you basically hit every shot, didn't you?
Yeah, I hit and killed like all of your models.
All my best troops suddenly died on first turn. I love that when it happened.
It was basically like 40k.
But you know what, Steve? He didn't rub it in at all. He never mentioned it afterwards. He just rolled his dice, and he went, "Oh, look at me, aren't I lucky?" And then he never mentioned it again.
So he wasn't doing like backflips and in your face like Homer Simpson.
No, funny that. No. Yes, he bloody was. Jesus, what an arse.
That's mine. That was an epic moment. That was good. I did like that.
I know. Yeah, so we've probably had hundreds of games over the course of our lifetimes, but there are ones that just stand out. You think, that's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
I do remember entering a tournament years ago, back in, I think it was up in Dunstable or something like that. It was an ancient wargaming competition, 6th edition, I think, of WRG. and we persuaded one of our. There were three of us used to game. Three of us used to play on a regular basis, and another guy used to come along every so often. And we persuaded him to come along and do a competition with me and Nick, who I used to game with a lot. In fact, I should be seeing him this weekend. Hi, Nick, if you're watching. We persuaded him to come along, and poor Ian, it was great. He's a lovely guy, and I love gaming with him. But tactically, he does fall flat sometimes. And he played this game, and literally, we were still setting up, still getting ready. Me and Nick are on the table side by side playing this tournament. And next thing I know, Ian wanders over and says, "Oh, how you doing, boys?" And we go, "Oh, yeah, so it's going all right. How are you doing?" He said, "I've just lost." It's like literally, we hadn't even moved first move. He'd already lost his entire game. It was very funny. It's one of those moments you just think, "Oh, poor old Ian. He's a lovely guy, but he wasn't really designed for tournament play. Not all of us are." But he had a great. To be fair to him, he had some really good games the rest of that week, or the rest of that weekend. But that first memory, okay, I've lost already. It's like, I haven't even got mine out of the toolbox yet.
I think mine would have to be. It was quite recent, and I did this on a YouTube video a couple of years back, talking about this. It was an X-Wing tournament, and it was a year to get my revenge. So one year I was playing in a tournament in the local store, and it was like a regional game, and the guy I was playing, he was just a shitbag. The only way to describe him, because I mean, but you've played X-Wing is very precise. You know, you with the turn templates, you need to have a bit of dexterity when you're playing it. He was playing it like he was using his feet instead of his hands. But I think he was doing it on purpose because there was some really dodgy shit placements. He was missing asteroids by 6 millimeters. Ships were strangely out of position from where they'd actually ended, and he beat me quite badly. And I'm not a sore loser. I mean, if I lose, I lose. I don't care. But a year later, same store, another X-Wing tournament, I got drawn against him. And I remembered the year before, and I tabled him in 15 minutes.
Bet you were happy about that.
I was. He wasn't. He started throwing counters all over the place. He just wasn't happy. And for me, I don't normally like seeking revenge during war games. We're playing with plastic toy swords at the end of the day. But given that I'd been jibbed out of a victory the year before, not to just beat him, but to annihilate him, and in such a short space of time, and I don't think he even laid a finger on any of my ships. And yeah, he wasn't happy. But that for me, it's probably because it's in recent memory. It also at the same tournament, I felt really bad because I also tabled my best mate as well. He couldn't hit anything. It was terrible. I felt so bad. Saying it was again, that was over in about 20 minutes because X-Wing games are either brutally short or in X-Wing.
Yeah. It was the model change, wasn't it, for you?
Oh yes, when they went from first ed to second ed, I loved X-Wing. It was such a good game. I entered tournaments. I've got an ungodly amount of money spent on X-Wing ships in my living room, and then they changed the whole thing overnight, and we just lost interest in moving to it into second ed. But one of the best games I've played, I'd honestly say, in Wargaming. Absolutely loved it. Really loved it. And the good thing about X-Wing, even if people didn't like Wargaming, like my brother doesn't like Wargaming, loved X-Wing because it's Star Wars and you're throwing dice around and you're moving plastic ships. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. Unfortunately, no, I didn't upgrade to second edition.
Yeah, we didn't either. I can't remember why. I think it's because I think we were going to, and then just something else came out, or we just never did. I don't know. We've looked at it a few times.
Something else shiny came along.
This just reminded me of another game as well. So Luke's put Snotling's taking down and killing a tree man first turn, first roll of a Blood Bowl game. I knew it wasn't my day, but I found it hilarious. Years ago, I used to run a joke team. I had a team of goblins, and they were terrible. They were absolutely awful. But on one particular game, I was winning 3-0 at half time against my mate's high elf team, and he called the game. He quit. He wouldn't play the second half. He just literally wouldn't come out and play. He was like, no, I blamed his dice, blamed everything, but just would not play the second half, and I got the game 3-0. I had been stupendously scrappy though. I mean, dice rolls were just off the chart, and there was no way.
That's the nature of the game, isn't it? Right? Any of these games is that ability of that bloody dice. Just some days just will not work for you, and it doesn't matter what you do. You know, we'll change the dice. All our like if I roll a 6, I won't roll that dice again. I'll roll another one that rolled low to roll high. And if I needed a high, I needed a roll low, I'll roll the 6. And, all those kind of things we do. But ultimately, it's pure random shit. But there are days when you just cannot win a thing. You can't roll. You can't, it just is so. And then conversely, the opposite happens, right? Where you just can't fail to hit everything. It's like 6.
I actually mentioned this on the Bolt Action Facebook group 2 years ago. I had a game of Bolt Action against my mate. It was Marines against Japanese. I lost 3 things to exceptional damage in a row. Literally, in three shots, he rolled 2 6s, exceptional damage for every single. And that was the same game. I failed 3 morale tests with veteran units with 1 pin in a row. So I had three US Marine units on a morale of 9 because he had 1 pin, and I rolled, I think it was 2 11s and a foobar. Trying to get them to
I love it.
That was the game. I actually changed dice halfway through. I retired the dice that I was using, and I went and opened a packet of new dice.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, you can be online ones, can't you? Remember, Ken? We played a few tabletop simulator games, Bolt Action.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let me have any more snipers because every time I took a sniper, I'd kill all whatever it was I was aiming at. It's like for some reason never missed.
I'm trying to think. I didn't. I can't think of say one game where so I have moments from games like the guy who I regularly play with, Kev. And if you're watching this, sorry. But I remember when we were playing Warhammer, my army of choice was the Dark Elves, and you could take assassins that would hide in your units and then jump out and basically stab someone in the face. And you had to write down where they were, and you usually just went there. That's where my assassin is, and you jump out, and no one ever asked. But I was playing against his orcs, and whatever the big, I can't remember what it is, but the big king orc of the orcs and goblins that is amazing. They attacked my whatever it is, the unit of dark elves that this guy's in. So I revealed my assassin who strikes first, and he killed him in 1 hit because they used to have that rule called killing blow, like this special character. It just floored him, and it was the only time my friend was like, "Can you actually show me where you wrote that down that he was in that unit, please?" Because you couldn't believe it. Because I think that was like he was worth like half his army in points.
I would have just gone GG, cheers, mate, and then started again.
Oh, he still won probably. After he wouldn't have taken that line down. I imagine after that, I lost. But it was just my one of my moments. I do also remember one game where it really did. 2 of my friends were playing, and I was watching, and it was Dwarfs v Vampire Counts. And they set everything up, took ages, rolled a scenario. Dwarfs got a first turn cannon, killed the general, whole army fell apart of the undead.
This doesn't make any sense for rules like that. It just never did with me. That's why it would annoy the shit out of me.
Yeah. It's an interesting one from Lionheart. One memory was playing a local Bolt Action tournament. I got drawn against a guy with the personality of a wet fart. Never once cracked a smile, or most depressing game ever. To be fair, that is the danger. I've only ever played in X-Wing tournaments. And to be fair, 99% of the people I played at X-Wing were just Star Wars fans. And when 2 Star Wars fans meet, you can't be miserable playing a Star Wars game. It's just simply not possible. But there was probably 2 or 3 people I met when in the X-Wing scene that I thought, I don't want to play you ever again. In fact, one person that I played, he was really, he was like X-Wing royalty in throughout the UK. And I had a really humorless game against him. There was no banter, there was no back and forth, there was no laughing and joking. I managed. I mean, he utterly annihilated me. He took me to the cleaners, but I still managed to kill one of his ships. And I've said it before, it was like he caught me pissing on his Christmas presents, because the look he gave me was just one of just disdain, just like, how dare you? It's what I was like. I was really glad when the game was over, because I just didn't want to play it anymore. I was like, I just want this to be over.
Is it worse though when you play somebody and they absolutely trounce you and they're lovely? They're really nice. It's like, and sometimes that can be as bad. I remember doing. It was probably only a couple of years ago. Went up to Warlords and played in one of their, friendly competition things they have from time to time. I think it was when the D-Day book, first D-Day book came out. And I played this guy, and I had no luck whatsoever. He had ridiculous luck. Plus, he outplayed me completely. But he was the nicest guy, but I wanted to smash him in the face. It was terrible, because I just when your dice is just nothing's happening, and then you start to do stupid things, and you think, and he's really nice, and he's saying, you really shouldn't have done that. And I go, yeah, I know, I bloody shouldn't have done that. It's like, but he was really nice about it. It was nice about everything. It's like, but yeah.
I lost a game at an X-Wing tournament through being a nice guy, because this guy, he was running a list of 3 fire sprays. And what?
Martin knows exactly. I know exactly what
I know exactly.
And in X-Wing, if any of the base of your ship goes off the table, that ship's gone. And it was literally off by about a gnat's pube. I mean, it was barely off the table. And I let him fly. I just said, "Oh, come on, mate! It's just a game." And he beat me, and I lost because I let him keep his ship on, even though it was like literally that. Technically, he should have gone, and I would have cleaned up, but because I let him carry on, and he beat me. So
I'm just gonna explain why I was laughing. And Dom, it's your fault, basically. So something happened.
Hey, it's my fault for once.
In the game with Ken, we won't go into it. You'll see.
Yeah, we're going
when I put the video up, right? But basically, let's just say that Ken did something that, under normal circumstances, would be amazing. But because it wasn't done in a certain way, a bit like at the start, at your game, you forgave someone and then you lost. I made him do it properly.
And I could have punched him in the face right there.
I made him do it properly, and it was also. Do you know what the best thing was? It was the first roll of the game.
Oh,
I could have killed him.
And I was like, no, and he was like, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Well, yeah, because Dom played that game where he let someone off at the start and then he got trounced. So I'm not gonna be that stupid, and I'm gonna no offense, I'm gonna learn from Dom's mistake and not do that."
Do you know what? I'm never going to do it again. No, it was the first time we've ever played, so I couldn't played your adaptation of War of the Roses rules, and I thought it's not fair for the first shot. The unit breaks and runs. That just seems too harsh.
I didn't do that. Mercy was for the weak.
You're playing the right period, mate. You really are. Well done.
Well, do you know what? Normally, if it hadn't been for your battle report, I'd have been absolutely fine about it. But I sat there and thought, no, because I know what's going to happen is we're going to film this, then I'm going to get a load of stick for saying no. That's how we do it.
But I think if it was Ken, I would do the same, because that he's going to rub your nose into it like crazy. If it had been the unit that you'd let off that wins the game for him, he's going, you should have killed it. You shouldn't have let me live, because he's like that little shit.
That's why I have to get that edited quite quickly.
Fair enough. Well done.
If I ever took part in an X-Wing tournament again, I'd be just an evil, massive shit. I wouldn't give anyone a free go like that. It's just wouldn't do it again. No.
What are these things on the bloody mercenaries?
Yeah, you're right, Battle Knights. I should have done that.
Where my finger is, 2 minutes.
I should have done that.
What, the little shields?
No.
No, the little. I wondered what they were as well.
What? They're cranks of the crossbows.
Yeah, but I've got the crossbows. Where'd you put them?
They hang off the side. They hang off the side on their belts or on their backs. Like
There's
low-
another thing on those, isn't there? There's another funny thing on those that I didn't know what it was. But anyway,
Right,
got you.
chaps, that was some rather entertaining trip down memory lane. And it's 9:30. I can't believe how time was flown.
Blimey.
Oh,
I
crap,
think it's time for some news. Do you reckon?
it is.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
That's the wrong video. God, the production values tonight are going through the roof, really, aren't they?
It's quality stuff.
Right, what news we got, chaps? Let's have some news.
Do you want to kick it off, Dom?
All right then. Bloody Perrys. Bloody Perrys. Bloody Perrys.
I didn't
Bloody
think you were
Perrys.
buying any more, Dom.
Bloody Perrys.
Was it this year you said that? I'm not going to buy any more figures this year.
It was this year, mate. And I did for about a month. I didn't buy any more figures.
Yeah, I know, you did well.
But it
Did
was,
you start,
it was
did you
a whole
start
month.
shaking like cold turkey?
No, I kind of then started to cheat on myself and I felt slightly dirty. So I carried on and it was really good fun. Perry's, obviously, I had to put these up on the Facebook page. They've unveiled some of their new Franco-Prussians. You've got French artillery, German artillery, or Prussian artillery. I don't know. Then you got the chasseurs Pied. That's it. Foot chasseurs, which look really, really sweet, and they're coming out.
Nice.
They are
They're all
nice, to be
metal,
fair.
They do. They do look nice for Frenchies. So they look really cool. So they're on sale now. So I think they said, I can't remember what they said was coming next, but there's a load more shit coming. So I am crumbling. We also had, these are some Victrix renders of, that's the Romano Brit set that they're working on. But the one that got me,
dodgy leaning back. They're all standing
No.
upright.
they're all standing upright. They all look like the same basic frame, don't they? With yeah, don't know. They look like the same body, but slightly tooled up differently. But the one that got me moist was this one. I mean, just awesome.
I'm not going to lie, Dom. It doesn't take you a lot to get moist.
It's true, mate. Hang on, how do you know that? No. These are the Normans. Apparently, they're going off to be tooled, whatever that means. So they won't be far down the line. I know everyone's waiting for the Bavarians, but the Norman cavalry look really, really sweet. Really, really sweet.
The thing that gets me, Dom, is they know everyone's waiting for the fucking Bavarians, and why don't they release the Bavarians?
I think they did say something on their website, and it was down to a combination of the COVID situation and various stock issues they were having in terms of getting it sorted out. It was, it's basically everything's been delayed a bit. Was the upshot.
And that container ship didn't help either.
Probably not as well. Yeah. So, and probably Brexit's to blame somewhere because it's to blame for everything else. So there you go. There's also this thing. I don't know if everyone saw this one. I'm not into it myself, but Stargrave Quarantine 37 is apparently coming out on. I don't know anything about it. I just saw it on North Star and I thought somebody might be interested in that. No idea what it's about.
It's just Frostgrave in space. So, but it's good, skirmish game. Develop your characters and your war band. I like Frostgrave. It's good fun. But yeah, it's basically the same thing in space.
I know loads of people have said they're going to pick up the gunfighter set from Dead Man's Hand and do a bit of conversion for Stargrave.
Oh, that'd be quite fun, wouldn't it? Yeah, I like the idea of that. That'd be cool. Leslie pointed this one out to me, and I hadn't noticed it initially, that you can buy the command cards for SPQR if you want it from Warlords for the different troop types. So if you've got your own figures and you want to play SPQR, you can buy the cards for them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play it, but it's quite a nice thing to do.
That reminds me, actually. Jim's got some SPQR stuff for 10 quid, boxes.
Okay.
Message him directly. He's got loads of ancient stuff for that, and he's doing them on like a special deal, so like £10. So message him.
Sweet. The figures are nice. They're good. Most of them are pretty good. I just wouldn't play the bloody rules, but there you go. And I also had, where else is the other picture I put up? Oh yeah, our mate Carl from Mez's Minis. He put this up on the Facebook page, and I had to show it because He said for weeks and weeks and weeks, we used to say on the podcast how he did busts, and he didn't. He now does busts.
Well, now he does, yeah.
So there you go. So if you're into busts, there's various that he's got, I believe, about 4 or 5 of them. So if you're into painting your busts, so to speak, you can go on to Mez's Minis and you can find them there. And then Martin, this is a new picture, I believe, but your mate is going to be showing off some new pictures.
My mate, yeah. You mean the man that I harass?
The man
the man who's going to get a restraining order against Graham Turner. Yeah,
Graham Turner. So he's got
Do you know what I love?
4 more pictures, hasn't he, coming out? Like
3 or 4 for Barnet, the Barnet Medieval Festival. I'm going there with a lot of money because I've got spaces on my wall that need filling. What I love about this picture, I know this is no one, is you've got the Duke of Norfolk with the plume, the red plume. Look at the guy next to him. Look at him going, can you see the enemy getting close? Look, he's looking at him. Why are they having a chat?
You can see the corner in the background, can't you? So what's the one with the star? You got the star one.
That's the Earl of Oxford about to.
Didn't he kill him?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. I love it because they're having a chat, and then, like you say, 5 minutes later, the Earl of Oxford's coming, and he's gonna.
They kill him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's got some new paintings coming out, and they're awesome. So.
There you go. There's some other stuff I think people put up.
Yeah, so if we're going with the moistness, this made me moistened. It is GW, but it's Lord of the Rings. Now, this is their new Witch King, the plastic Witch King Nazgul model, which I really like because I like the fact he's on the horse. And you could get.
Do I need a new mortgage for that? It does look sweet.
Well, you get him on foot as well, so you get the two. I think they're about. I think they're between 15 and 20 quid for the set. Well, the AMir one, but they're standout centerpieces, and they're in your army. Then you don't have loads of them. Well, I suppose if you wanted to make all 9 of the ring wraiths, you would. But Ken pointed out something that this will probably mean that they are going to do the ring wraiths as a new set in plastic, in new poses, which would be very cool. Because although there's nothing wrong with the old poses, it would be nice to have some more dynamic sculpts. I'm a big fan of the Witch King. He's my second favorite character after Gandalf. But I do like the ability to be able to just make him up as, if you don't want to have the gnarly Morgul crown, you can just make him up as a normal ring wraith.
In the earlier, like in the Fellowship and that, he's
and I do still like his ridiculously oversized mace. But they didn't stop there. They've also some sceneries for Dol Guldur, so another scenery pack. But again, you could use that in pretty much any fantasy game. Nice. And it's cool. It's a bit different from other fantasy stuff because you've got all that like ironwork, and I think it comes with they said like gibbets and statues, and there are skulls on there, but it's not absolutely covered in them, which is nice. Now, obviously, this next one you would probably need to remortgage your house to get because it's by Forge World, but they're releasing Amon Hen, and it does look.
It's a major part
awesome.
of the film.
It does look awesome, but it's going to cost a lot of money. But it does look cool. I'll give them that.
That's going to be about 250 quid. I'll put a price tag on that now.
Yeah. So the Dol Guldur stuff and the Witch King as well is part of the new expansion, which is, to be fair, they're putting out a lot of books, and considering what kept it going was really the fans, and GW did stop supporting it for a long time. It was just the fan base that kept it going, and they're now putting out books. So this is the new book, The Fall of the Necromancer, dealing with all the stuff in Dol Guldur. But what I quite liked is they said their next one is going to be the Defense of the North, which, if anyone is into Lord of the Rings, this is what's going on at Erebor and when the War of the Ring is happening. So this is all the stuff that you don't see in the films with Dane and Bard's grandson, and they kind of allude to it in the films, but you don't see anything of it. So I just thought they were actually well cool. We talked about it a little bit last week, and Steve mentioned these guys from Highland Miniatures. These are STLs. So
good.
But they are pretty nice, aren't they? Some good old Empire, either Empire handgunners or just what do you call them? Forgot Landsknecks. Landsknecks. So that's cool. And then again, it's a GW thing, but we were talking about the lore, and I know I'm going to imagine that most people aren't into the thing they're releasing, but at the weekend for one day they released for free the you could watch the first episode of one of their series, and I watched it and I really enjoyed it. So I got to say I liked the style of it. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm not going to pay for the service at all, but I think it's quite good that they are maybe exploring something. I don't agree with what they're doing with the IP, you know, where they're like crushing YouTubers and things like that. But it's a shame they can't just do that alongside releasing supporting media for their lore, which is something which people have been going on for a while. But as a single piece, where we're taking out all the sort of GW political stuff aside, I thought it was all right. So
how's that going to work?
Yeah.
It's
what
because you subscribe to it.
Yeah, you subscribe to it and you get like a couple of free miniatures, you get free videos, painting guides, and then every week a new show comes out. It's basically Disney.
Oh, so there are miniatures. Okay.
It's 30 quid a year, which is about the price of one GW miniature, I suppose.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds actually a good deal for a GW.
But what we talked about it, what isn't cool is the sort of way they've kind of chosen to. I get it's their intellectual property. I completely understand.
Yeah,
they've been right to do it. But you know, a lot of these people who do that all they're doing is promoting their hobby and promoting Games Workshop product by doing that. So I don't know. But anyway, I thought the cartoon as a cartoon was all right, and it was something to watch on Sunday morning. Well, Haley didn't have a hangover, by the way, Ken.
Oh no,
she wasn't hungover at all.
She was pissed with the fart.
My wife interrogated Ken.
I was like falling asleep when I was like literally like this, and I had to do like a 2.5 hour drive, and I was like this, and Lady was like, "What did she say? I feel like I'm in a pub being chucked out."
Yeah, because I was trying to get her to go to it, so I started brushing. It was 2 a.m, and I was brushing my teeth in front of her to try and get her to leave Ken alone and let him go to sleep. And she was like, "I feel like I'm getting kicked out of the pub." But yeah, she's now lingering in the background. So the threat of imminent violence is.
Oh, she watching.
Hi.
No dear.
Oh, you listening to it? Oh, she's listening to the stream.
She left me Pikachu though.
Oh, she did leave you Pikachu too. Also, Haley did appear in the battle report to help you out, didn't she? She did come to help.
The last piece of news, I think, is this. So, Blood Red Skies from Warlord Games, new starter set, set at Midway, so out in the Pacific. Did anyone play Blood Red Skies?
I bought it, I played it once and got rid of it.
A couple of guys in the club played it, and they quite liked it, but I never played it.
I have this will come as no surprise to anyone, but I've got a German squadron of Messerschmitt BF 109s.
Funny that.
Doesn't surprise us, no.
17 decals on each plane.
17?
17.
Oh, you didn't use this. You didn't use the stickers that came with it then.
No.
Good face.
I'm not putting stickers on a painted model. I think I'm 4.
How dare thy speak to thee like this?
It was. We were meant to be getting into it, and then it just went by the way. So we lost all the enthusiasm for it.
They tried to do a video game version of it, didn't they? And I don't.
Yeah, they did. They did a Kickstarter.
Nobody backed it. Very few people backed it.
Am I preparing for a ritual? Oh, the candle.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm pinning miniatures. No one else does this. No. Well,
I've got a pinning set. I've never used it. I'm not allowed. I'm not to be trusted around.
Yeah, with your reputation, I wouldn't let you near a pin, Steve.
When I'm going to pin a miniature, or I'm pinning it to paint it because it's in multiple parts. Instead of getting the Dremel out and drilling it, if it's plastic, all I do is I've got a whole load of long pins, so I heat them up and then I just push the pin into the foot, and then it's secure. I don't have to muck around with a drill or gluing it. So you just push them in, and it's not going anywhere. So I do that, and then it's easy enough to pull them out. So it's just so I can paint them easier. Like when I'm doing when you're I've left it not fully assembled, so I can paint because he's got a big shield across his body. So I need to leave it separate. Assembled. There you go. Yeah, that's what the candle's for, and also summoning something to fight Brother Ken.
Yeah,
it's good thing.
We did have a good Chinese though.
We did have a good Chinese. Yes, we did. which I had on Sunday as well because there was loads left.
Well, now it's 15 minutes to go. I think it's time to show the good old code.
Yeah.
Is this one? Is that the right one? Oh, it's the right one. PCP10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that right there, that code, if you go to Reaper Games, will give you 10% off your purchase, and that's on top of the stonkingly good 20% discount you're going to get through Jim's shop as it is. So people have bought 1 or 2 boxes of Perry's through Jim, haven't they?
Couple.
No, don't know what you mean.
At 30% off, I would imagine so.
I just remember that box that Bill posted on the Facebook page.
That was a big box of stuff, wasn't it?
It was just...
I still think Bill wins the prize for the most purchased in one go. That was superb. Yes. That was quality.
That was a fantastic... That's dedication. That's dedication to the hobby. It is really there. Right, let's have a look at some of other people's painting. There's been some absolutely cracking stuff over the past week. I've enjoyed. I tried to pick out as much as I could, so apologies in advance to anyone that didn't quite make it. It's just purely on. I don't have a system. I should put it in a spreadsheet, but I don't. So let's. Who have we got first? So these are. This is David with some V&V Normans.
Very nice.
Apparently, they were hand delivered by Mezza himself.
There you go.
There's service for you.
So what era are they from? Because they've got those funny padded coats that look like the inside of a jacket.
What's the one date in history that everybody in Britain remembers, Steve?
My birthday. No. 1066.
There you go. That's from where they are. Yeah. That period.
Right.
Yeah.
You're still not a fan of them because they're French.
They're not. They're Vikings, actually.
I know that's when, Norseman, Normans, where it comes from. But
I do like the Normans, actually. I've got my Normans in Sicily army in production.
They're French, not French. That's why he'll collect them.
Exactly. Precisely.
A bit like your Cleveberg.
Exactly. Yeah. and my Neapolitans and my whatever.
So up next is this. The Windy Boat Game.
Windy Boat Game.
Windy Boat Game.
Devon, and they are some lovely painted.
He's done a great job with them, hasn't he? Really
fantastic.
Good job.
Very nice.
I hate the Windy Boat Game. Just because I have to paint.
Did anyone actually play the Windy Boat Game?
Yeah, I played it lots. I loved it. It's a really good game. There you go. That disappoints you, didn't it? No, it's good. I liked it.
I might like it, but I'm buggered if I'm painting game more of those ships.
I didn't mind the ships. It was the rigging. The ship painting was fine, but the rigging was a bit of a biatch.
Not happening ever again. Speaking of Carl, we've got some from Mezza. These are some, I think they're front rank civilians.
Yeah,
very nice.
Always
like seeing civilians and stuff. I think
there's me on the end.
I was going to say, there's Ken's alter ego at the end there.
Yes, true.
See what he's doing there? He's in the middle of he's berating the masses for basing bolt action vehicles. That's why he's in he's in frothing righteous indignation pose at that. Up next, bit of War of the Roses, or Wars of the Roses, some Lancastrians at Bosworth.
Yeah,
I recognise some Stanley there.
These are from
William
Gaza.
Stanley. Yeah. William Stanley.
I do like that. I do like the bases on that. They're really cool.
Yeah, nicely done.
Very, very nice. There's definitely been an increase in Wars of the Roses over the past couple of months.
I wonder whose fault that one is.
I don't know. It could be.
Don't know. They should get a commission, though.
They should.
So these are from Lewis. There's some late war German Grenadiers. I like these. I love the camouflage.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I mentioned it on the Facebook group. I love that Grenadier kit. It's so good. It's just so many options, and it fits with lots of other Warlords games kits as well. I mean, it goes seamlessly with the USMC. I've used bits and pieces on each unit. Really good. Very, very nice though. Some like I say, some cracking camouflage on them. Well done.
Very nice.
Dom, you might want to close your eyes, mate. There we go. Some Franco-Prussian from Matt.
That's Matt. He's did a video on this, and I tell you what, I think it's holding me back. It's not because I don't love it. And I will do it. It's just I haven't quite worked out what rule system to play with it. Once I've got that cracked, no stopping me.
They do look nice though. They look really.
And
What were those Frenches you were painting before? What were they?
They were the Eagles of Empire from this period. So these figures Matt put up there, they're a mixture of Perry's and Eagles of Empire, and he mixed them in together. Well, I don't know whether those are specifically, but certainly he did on his video, and they actually did go in well together. So I've got both. I've got Eagles of Empire, Prussians, and French. And they're nice. They're really nice figures.
Got you.
Moving forward to World War II, this from Phil. An in-game shot of bolt action there. So we got some plucky British paras about to stick it up the Hun.
They look good.
That looks like a really good game, actually.
Yeah,
it's not. You can't beat a good bolt action game visually.
You cannot. It's still one of the games that almost always gives a brilliant game, doesn't it? Really brilliant.
No, the next one made me laugh from Rory. Apparently, this is us on the night of CrackCon.
Oh, yeah, no, that's the new release, isn't it? That's the I meant to put that photo up, but that's quite handy. Yeah, they're the new. They're out. They're one of the new sets that they've put out there. So that's ace.
So who's who? That's the question. Don't go there.
Well, given my my past, I'm the guy on the floor. I once broke my collarbone while out watching rugby league. It was a perfect northern night. I was, what did I say? I saw the rugby. I had a kebab. I was drunk and I broke my collarbone. So trip to the hospital. It was the perfect northern night.
Not the fact you weren't playing it, you just were watching it, and you managed. Oh well, yeah, brilliant. No. Good job.
Either way, I lost a good hat that day as well. These are fantastic from Steve. These halflings. Absolutely love these.
Oh yeah, really, really good. I like those a lot.
So what I like about them is the yellows, how crisp those yellows are on them chaps. Really good.
Yeah, good stuff.
I really like them. I
Yeah,
mean, there's a lot of companies making halflings now, because I know TT Combat do halflings. They do undead halflings as well, which is a niche army at the best of times. That undead halflings.
I've marked them.
Now, the next one reminded me of this could be an album cover by Cannibal Corpse. It's a death cart from Steve, and it's a cart full of dead bodies.
Oh, I love it. That reminds me of your pile of French dead that you used, Martin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about them. That'd have been handy for you, Ken, when we ran out of all those casualty markers.
Ha, 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 ha.
But yeah, the first thing I saw when I saw that was that could be a Cannibal Corpse album, because
very nice.
Well, yes.
You'd like Cannibal Corpse. They're a lovely, gentle,
easy, mellow listening, are they?
They've been likened to Val Dunican. That's basically.
Good. Okay,
yeah.
Good. I'll listen.
Well,
I'll play it to my.
You've probably heard them. You've probably already heard them. Have you seen Ace Ventura: Pet Detective?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
You know when he runs into a club and it's the metal, and he runs into a metal.
Okay,
that's
cool.
them, and he is a fan and asked for them to be the band that was there.
I bet that was the more gentle version of it that they were playing.
Probably. What I like about
the normal stuff.
Slight metal deviation, but what I like about Cannibal Corpse is they've never changed. They've been making the same music for 30 years. They don't do acoustic sessions. They don't do remixes. It's like they go into a time machine, just stay there, and then they just come out to make more albums.
Tell these guys what the lead in the band is called. Do you remember it?
Corpse Grinder. Is it Corpse Grinder?
We go. Yeah, it's Corpse Grinder.
He's got a neck like that.
Grinder.
Have you seen his neck?
Yeah, it's like a tree trunk.
Yeah. His neck's wider than his head. It's insane. Okay, less Cannibal Corpse.
It doesn't take much for us to move into blooming metal again, does it?
More Wars of the Roses from Stu, this time in 10mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
excellent
exactly.
stuff.
Oh,
That's
good
his
job.
That's his
Tewkesbury stuff,
Tewkesbury
isn't it?
project.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very cool.
You're not going to be attempting 10mm, Dom?
No, I can't see him, mate.
I saw his 6mm samurai when I was up there as well. Just pointing that out.
What, painted or unpainted?
They were primed.
No, he's on about these ones. He's on about these two like sticks of miniatures, and but I showed you what's putting me off them, didn't I? It's because they are in strips, but they're the wrong way. They're not all facing the same direction. They're in strips, but they're all. You have to snip them all off to baste them, so you can't just stick them on in the strip.
I wouldn't let that be an excuse. I would just do them, but
Oh no,
No,
as
you just
opposed
sell
to the
them.
person who just sold them.
I'm going to sell them and get them in a bigger scale because I'm scared.
Yeah.
And staying with Wars of the Roses, we've got Tony and his Tewkesbury army. That is really, really good.
That is very cool.
Oh
so
yeah,
cool.
look at that. That's brilliant.
Dom, he's rivaling you for
He is. I'm going to have to up my game. I'm going to have to
how
up my game.
fast
I
can
feel
you paint Wars of the
threatened.
Roses?
I'm threatened. I'm going to have to get working.
I think
Excuse me, I have to come off the stream just now so I can do it.
it's flags. It's all about flags. I love flags.
I think you two are definitely in a different league. Martin, close your eyes, mate.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, do you know what? So I got 2 notifications about that. Obviously, I got the notification because when a post goes up, we get that. But also, my mate Kev then tagged me in it as well, just in case I didn't see it. So I was like, I saw it obviously come up. I was like, no, I'm not going to look at it. And I was like, oh, my friends tagged me in the post. I clicked on it, and then it just appeared in front of me. So yes, I'm so close to finishing my ECW. They are lovely. It's not helping me though.
These are some awesome Zulus by Torbjorn. Absolutely fantastic.
Really
do you know what? As soon as I saw them, I for a split second, I was like, I want to paint some Zulus.
Yeah.
And then I had a moment. No, and then I had a moment. I thought, what's this mad, crazy fool talk about painting Zulus? I don't need any more things on the go. And last up is this. This is just from Warren. Just look at that.
Oh, that's nice. That's really cool. Where's that from?
I saw that. It's a 3D print.
That's a 3D print.
Yeah, it's
That's really cool.
I don't know what I'd use it for, but I quite like that figure. It's just brilliant. Well,
Warren's using that in his Oathmark human army.
Cool.
It looks very Hammer horror. I don't know, something about it.
It's better. That it is really cool. I just love the white on the horse. I think that's amazing.
But you wouldn't think that was 3D printed, though, would you? That's just
standard of 3D prints. Is just amazing, isn't it?
It's getting better.
It is. It really is getting better. So, some absolutely stonking good work this week.
Good work, folks, as usual. Really, really good.
Does anyone? Do what I like about that Facebook group is I find it so inspirational. I just love every day just checking out what people have been up to.
There's always different things, isn't there?
There's always different things, and it's just inspiring to know that people are out there putting the time and the effort, and it's a part of the hobby that I always look forward to. In fact, I mentioned this the other week. So do you know, like the really top level notch painted stuff, I get more inspiration from people who don't paint like that than people who do. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Get what
you're
saying.
On Instagram, once you've been through your normal feed, you get the suggested pages. Most of the time, it's just women dancing in the street, but other times it's like,
not just me then that gets that shit.
No. I'm like, what is this? Why has this video got 1.4 million views? I could go and dance on the pavement. I don't think I'd get 1.4 million views though.
Maybe you should do it with you painting a mini to see what happens.
Maybe we'll do it in Derby in October and see what happens, eh?
Oh, shit,
I think we'll probably get arrested.
Speaking of Derby in October, we had a couple of little things to say about it, didn't we? which was mainly about the games. So apologies, this next bit, if you're not coming, why not? But if you are coming to CrackCon, we're just sort of in the middle of sorting out the games, but as we've already said, the main game will be, well, I say a main game, there will be a big game of Black Powder for which there will be spaces for 4 people per side. There's going to be a Middle-earth strategy battle game that's going to be put on by Stuart and Dan. Miller is going to be putting on a pike and shot game to try and break into his star fort, so I think he's looking for opponents or people to join in. Steve is going to be running games of Firefight. That's amazing. We should do that. Dom is going to be doing muskets and tomahawks. He's going to bring that along. Drew, when you watch this, please will you bring along Rorke's Drift? I know you've got to come from Scotland, but please bring it.
Martin will paint up a unit or two just in readiness for that if you bring it.
I was thinking more like we could. I might. No, I won't just take it because it's not like you can hide that. I'll be bringing some Dead Man's Hand. There will still be a few tables available for people to arrange and play games of whatever they like. So if you fancy having a game of Black Powder or Muskets and Tomahawks or Kill Team or whatever, then you can basically organise that. We'll probably put it as an announcement on the Facebook page, and then we have a couple more things to announce in the next couple of weeks to do with it as well, but we got some surprises. But remember as well that the painting competition is open. It's a 50mm base or World War II themed, but just remember it has to include cork somewhere on that base, and it will be judged on the day, and there will be a prize for the entry that we think is maybe not necessarily the best painted, but the funniest, most original, or just the most deserving of
the one that just makes us feel good
and isn't isn't splattered with blood like mine.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And I think we've still got a few tickets left as well if you're still interested in coming. So
there is still a couple
left.
Good question there from Steve. What's the plan for those not on Facebook?
Send us an email.
Yes.
Send an email. Let us know what game. If you let us know what game, like what you want to play, what you want to bring, or if there's a game that you would like to play.
And then we'll add you into the Facebook thing when it comes to it. We'll put your name in there, won't we?
Yeah, we will, and then we'll pop you on there. So just send us an email, and it'll all be sorted. Everyone else that's coming, there will be a survey going out in the next couple of weeks that will have everything on it, like dietary requirements and a few other things, and there will be a information leaflet which Hayley has made. I'm not even going to try and claim because she's there and she's going to hurt me if I say I did it, which will have everything on there from the nearest pub, the nearest cash point, how to get there, stations. I presume she's picked the right station, and a bunch of other stuff. So that will all be sent out to everyone who's there.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. So that is the end of our trip down memory lane. Again, another big thank you to everyone who's caught this on the catch up. We really do appreciate you watching it, not live after the show. There we go. So next week, who's up next?
It's meant to be you, Don. But I was going to ask. I was going to ask you. Can I steal it because I'm on call the week after?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, is that all right?
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, so
it'll be me.
Ken next week over at Miniature Wargaming Warriors. Are you still debating changing your channel name, Ken?
Nah, I'll probably keep it. I might change it at some point. But
quick competition for anybody watching is name
new name for my channel.
Come up with a new name for his channel. Best ones will get a prize.
It's all just going to be Church of Ken.
It is, isn't it? But he's got to be something original.
According to Ken,
yeah.
I might actually use it if it's any good.
So it's any good.
You'll have to commit to the role. You're going to have to wear a mitre and have a proper crook. And
I've genuinely been looking to see if I can get one for CrackCon. So.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I have no words. Right, we've already gone to overtime. Thanks once again for everyone for catching up on the Plastic Crack podcast, and we'll see you all next week over on Ken's channel. So have a good night, everyone, and I'll see you all soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.